So, Joseph and Tom, we're here to talk about Ages Ago.
Yeah.
It's, for the purposes of the recording, we're actually doing this on Halloween, which seems quite an appropriate time to be talking about this production, doesn't it? What can you tell me about it?
Ages Ago is a short comic opera by W.S. Gilbert of Gilbert and Sullivan fame and Frederick Clay. It's about a spooky haunted castle. It features a group of, as we refer to them, mortals who squat in the castle, and the disagreements they have. Two of them are in love. There's the grumpy proprietor who is trying to break up the relationship. The hilarious steward, played by Mr. Joseph here, and a Mistress McMullenly, who's the housemaid, and the other inhabitants of the castle, who are its ghosts, or rather its paintings and ghosts. Yeah. And they get up to some mischief in a very Halloween sort of fashion, while the mortals are asleep. It's quite short. It's only about an hour and 10 runtime. It's very good fun. The music is beautiful. It's really, really good. It's very, very rarely performed. This revival is one of the few that I think that we've found evidence of when we've been researching it. It's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday, 4th of November.
4th of November, yes, indeed. At Sailmaker's Arms. And we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
It's interesting because, what I think is interesting for me is, out of all plays I've performed in so far, this is the oldest, dating back to 1869, I believe it was first premiered.
Right, yeah.
And
my word.
And as usual, it's nice that I have a role which suits my voice, which is a bass voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how now then? There's a certain young lady starring in this who happens to be dating one of you.
Yes.
And how is Kathy taking to her role, would you say?
Kathy's she's taken her role very well, which was, you see, she's stepped very far out of her comfort zone. I don't think she said she's ever played a principal role before. So yeah, and she actually has more to learn than me, but not much more. But she is taking it very well in her stride, and she sings well, she can act well, and do a convincing Scottish accent, you see.
She's really doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that she's had, as far as I know, a principal role.
Yeah, I definitely, I think I'll agree with you on that one. I believe so. Yeah.
That's true of a few of our cast actually. And that's sort of what we're about as a theatre company, is providing opportunities for people. There's no chorus in the show, it's all principal cast members.
Yeah.
Putting people in positions where they can succeed, where they might not have been able to be in those positions before, for whatever reason, and encouraging, we're particularly focused on young people above university age, you see what I mean, who maybe don't have the opportunity to be in theatre anymore. So it's really great for someone like Kathy to kind of get that chance and just absolutely knock it out of the park in terms of how she's doing with it, and she's doing really well with it.
And it's got to be lovely for you to be acting with her, hasn't it?
Agreed. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Can you tell me more about Taverners Theatre?
I can, yeah. We're recently set up. We were set up earlier on this year as a group of friends, many of whom met in the whole local amateur Gilbert Sullivan group. Yeah. We noticed that there was a gap, as I kind of alluded to before, for theatre projects, especially in kind of opera or light opera world, that allowed people of, crudely speaking, let's say the 25 to 40 age range, to kind of work on their own projects that were entirely in-house. And we've set it up as a group of friends, but we've also encouraged people to get involved. We've made new friends through doing it. We've got people involved in the back end as well. The putting on performances are very important, but when it's something that you're doing entirely yourselves, you're doing all the organisation, the publicity, the set construction, everything. I'm sure there's other things I've not mentioned, the choreography, all these things. It puts people in roles that maybe they're not familiar with before, or they've not done before, and allows them to build skills. You know, have opportunities.
Hence Kathy with a
exactly, yeah,
role.
that's a good example. But also we've got people doing, you know, behind the scenes things that maybe they haven't been able to do before.
Right.
So we're providing opportunities, and that's something that we're really passionate about. Providing opportunities for kind of young people in theatre, not just through being on stage, but also through being able to help out in other ways and learn skills and contribute and have fun, because it has been a really, really fun show to be part of. Really has.
Yeah, this usually is the fun part, isn't it? The rehearsals, etc. And what, Joe, obviously you're going to be on stage during this production. What would you like the audience to take away from this production? What would you like them to say about it?
Well, what I would like this production to do is to open up the popularity of Gilbert and Sullivan as individuals. For example, another way of looking at it is Sullivan as an individual is quite an underrated composer. You know, he's written marvellous works throughout his career, and unfortunately not many of them are that well known. For example, his operas like Haddon Hall, Rose of Persia, Cox and Box, they're brilliant operas, but they're not as well known as the works he composed with W.S. Gilbert. So I reckon that's another benefit, you know, looking at the two individually as opposed to their partnership.
Definitely, and that's something we've chosen to focus on in the short term, because it's a great niche for us to kind of occupy as a theatre company. It's something that a lot of the cast, including you know, Joe and myself, feel really strongly, really quite passionately about, in that we think these are great shows that aren't done very much, for the reason that they're just not as well known really as kind of the Gilbert and Sullivan canon. It's not something that we're necessarily going to box ourselves into always doing. Like, we'd like to do kind of other, you know, light operas or other maybe even plays or down the line. But for the time being, this is a fantastic kind of starting point, because it's such great material. And it's something that a lot of us are more familiar with. And I think it's something that has a great appeal to the wider audience as well. We're doing really well in terms of selling tickets for this show, which is a show that, other than it's got Gilbert wrote it, very few people know about. So.
Yeah. And obviously we're in 2017, it is the City of Culture. It's got to be a great time to be starting up a new theatre company, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, to tell you the truth, we managed to get sponsored in the 2017.
Well, we're not sponsored, but we're in terms of monetary, but we're in the programme.
Yeah, we're in the programme for 2017,
which is great. That was really surprisingly kind of very progress. They were really helpful. I can't say enough about how helpful they are. I must also at this point give a shout out to the University Library, who are also massively helpful in the publicity of the show. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm a big believer in the potential of City of Culture for Hull. Honestly, it's something of a dream of mine to be involved in a show that's part of the programme. I could not be more thrilled. It's hopefully going to provide us a nice boost as well. And I mean, you know,
and of course we're coming towards the end of 2017, but of course they've been very keen to point out the fact that nobody's really taken advantage of the fact that Hull has this title for 4 years, doesn't it? So that allows obviously more scope for you moving forward as well, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, legacy is something that they're just starting to plan really, really hard, and it's something that we are certainly concerned with. Like, we want this to be a sustainable operation, a sustainable project that people can really, you know, believe in and get behind. And it's something that we'll be looking to, you know, tie in with City of Culture going forward and say, hey, this is something that, you know, you've helped us with. We've hopefully put on a show that you think is kind of not worthy, but, you know, is doing good things for the City of Hull in terms of promoting unheard of material and helping young people in access to theatre and theatre projects kind of work on this going forward.
And of course you're big on giving opportunities, pulling people into theatre, but when you've got somebody like Joe who comes along who's obviously quite an experienced theatre man yourself, aren't you? That's got to be a great outlet for you as well, hasn't it?
Joe's experience in theatre is such that I couldn't tell you half the shows he's been in. Anyone who's seen him knows he's fantastic, sensational bass baritone voice.
Thank you.
And a stunning actor to boot, although he probably hides it quite well.
And his timing's quite good as well.
Yes.
So look, going forward, Joe, this is obviously a bigger project for yourself as well, would you say, with Taverners?
Yeah. Yeah, and just to let you know, I also want to mention individually, as well as the experience with Taverners Theatre, meeting all these people has helped expand my horizon on people who can help me with my projects, like either my animation projects for voice acting or my live action projects for human actors, including the film I'm working on next year. So for a number of reasons, not just the theatrical experience, but I'm also very grateful I've joined Taverners Theatre, you know, in many respects.
Yeah, we didn't set out thinking this would be a good opportunity for networking, I guess.
Yeah.
But hopefully we've provided some connections for people that's going to help with other projects as well, or if they want to set up their own theatre projects or their own shows, great, absolutely. If we've provided a means to help with that and facilitate that, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, Joseph, thank you very much
Thank you
indeed,
very
much
much.
appreciated.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.